Before I get started, I always like to mention the number 22. I'm sure just about everybody in this room knows what that number stands for. 22 veterans a day take their lives. The reason I bring that up is about almost 2 years ago, I almost became one of those 22.
A veteran has been defined as follows: someone who, at one point in their life, wrote a blank check made payable to the United States of America for up to and including their life. We are honored to have in our presence this evening those individuals who wrote that blank check, from World War II veteran Lenny Sisiski to Medal of Honor recipient Ryan Pitts. On June 4th, 1903, President Theodore Roosevelt declared, "A man who is good enough to shed his blood for his country is good enough to be given a square deal afterwards." It is that combination of blank check and a square deal that provides the lifeblood for Easter Seal's Military and Veteran Services program and for Veterans Count. It is a reason why the chapter board volunteers raise their hand. It is a reason why Service Credit Union and the multitude of sponsors have answered the call. It is the reason why we are all here this evening. For without their generosity, there would be no resources for emergency assistance. For without their generosity, lives that have been saved would have been lost. For without their generosity, there would be no Veterans Count. Our host this evening, Service Credit Union, has made the commitment to the square deal, from the boardroom to their branches. In this year alone, they will have contributed in excess of $75,000 to the Seacoast chapter of Veterans Count in support of events from our gala this evening to the statewide iHeartRadio Make 12 Hours Count Radiothon and the Eagle Parade.
I joined the Army when I was 17, the Army Reserves in Tampa, Florida with the 810th MP Company. My father was a retired Sergeant Major from the Special Forces, and anybody that knows a Sergeant Major, you didn't get in trouble at home. So I joined the military to get in trouble.
I received a phone call on Thursday afternoon, which I just wanted to share with you. It was from the head of the New Hampshire Hospital Association, and he informed me that the effort we started on my show less than 2 months ago, Hospitals for Heroes, and I'll tell you what that is in one sentence. Instead of sending veterans out of state for surgeries and evaluations that can and should be done close to home at a local hospital, who rely on the VA for health care, it's time that we stop that in the state of New Hampshire and let veterans be seen locally through the Choice Card program. And on Thursday afternoon, I was told every single hospital in the state of New Hampshire, 26 hospitals and 2 inpatient rehab facilities have signed on to Hospitals for Heroes. And that means veterans should no longer be sent out of state after serving us, and they should be seen at home. Well, you're really applauding for the veterans. And I've met so many. And a couple years ago, my life changed, at least from what I do on the radio show, when I met some veterans who shared with me. Because you see, veterans are the last people to put their hand up and say, I need some help. Why? You veterans here who are here, you know this. You're the ones that serve. You don't need help. You're supermen and superwomen. You can handle anything and handle everything. So you're the last ones to say, I need some help.
I lost 3 buddies kind of back to back to suicide, and decided a week before Thanksgiving 2014 that I was done. I almost lost my life, I almost lost my family, and the devastation that it would have done that I see now to my kids and to my wife. But it was a relief to see there's options out there for veterans that don't have the opportunity to go to the VA or don't want to go to the VA. There's help. There's things to help us change.
Veterans Count makes a tremendous difference for our veterans. We all know that there is so much more that our government needs to do for our veterans and do it much better. But Veterans Count is there to make sure that when our men and women deploy, that we are there for their families, to make sure if there's something that they need, that there is someone that they can turn to make sure that when our men and women deploy, when they come home, that they get the support that they need to make sure that they can have a transition back to civilian life.
This program, it was a game changer. If it wasn't for the program, I would not be standing here. I would be dead. I'd be or in prison. I started my own company 19 months ago.
A little bit of a personal story. My dad was a World War II veteran. He fought in the Battle of the Bulge. He came home with that sense that he had survived the Great Depression and the Battle of the Bulge, and so the rest of life was always sunny side up, right? He had a habit over the breakfast table of occasionally lowering the newspaper that he was reading and asking us, and this way he would say it, he'd say, "So what are you going to do for freedom today?" That's a pretty tough question to ask like a 9-year-old, right? But my father certainly had every reason to ask, because in fact he had done something for freedom, as Len had too, and as all of the men and women who serve and the veterans who are here have too. That question is a question that we should be asking ourselves each and every day. To all of our service members and our veterans and your families, thank you for what you do for your country, and thank you for coming together as part of this event tonight. And by the way, it is a uniquely New Hampshire effort. I had the privilege when I was serving in the state Senate to travel to DC to talk with folks from SAMHSA about what we were doing. This blend of a private nonprofit, our National Guard, and the state of New Hampshire coming together. And nobody else was doing it. And now we are becoming a national model. People are asking how they can do it too, because it is that intersection of all of these different stakeholders and sectors that makes this program so effective. And it reflects how we do things in New Hampshire, just coming together to get things done, regardless of which sector we represent.
This program, Easter Seals, and the Vet Count program, it saves lives. The money that's donated, it saved my life. There's thousands of veterans out there that either can't get help from the VA because they're not eligible, or they just won't have anything to do with the VA. And it's not a dead-end road. There's other options, and this program is a phenomenal program that shows that there is options, that we can get the help that we need.
To supporters of Veterans Count, Easter Seals, and all of you for recognizing and remembering our veterans in such a meaningful and thoughtful way. Your words, your acts, your deeds mean more than you'll ever know. Can more be done for our veterans to improve health care, to unlock the keys to dealing with PTSD, TBI, and other invisible war injuries, address retirement issues and benefits, care for survivors and children, and further reduce the backlog of VA cases? Can more be done to combat suicide, substance abuse among veterans, to recognize and improve services for women vets, to widen job opportunities, to end veteran homelessness, and to reform the VA? The answer to these questions, of course, is a resounding yes.
This year is the 50th anniversary of the start of the Vietnam War. And since I served, and I had no idea what being a veteran was like until I became one, and looking now back on what the Vietnam veterans went through coming home was shameful. And I've seen how hard it's been for my generation to come home to a country that's welcomed us home like heroes. I can't even imagine the strength that they had to have to come home and carry on. So while I think about that, and I get together with my buddies and veterans, and we talk about it, we talk about that, how hard that would have been and how hard that must have been. And, you know, I feel the shame that you were treated like that. But I'm also thankful for you, because the way we've been treated, how we've come home to a hero's welcome, is how you should have been treated. And we've gotten that because of you, because you wouldn't let it happen to anyone else ever again. Our company lost 15 men over the course of 15 months. And it was hard. That deployment changed us. July 13th changed me. And we had seen some bad odds, but these were the worst. Yeah, this is when it was the darkest. But all the guys that I was with, this is when they shined the brightest. The guys I was with, they were incredible. And on that day, we lost 9 of them. Sergio Abad, Jonathan Ayers, Jason Bogar, Jonathan Brostrom, Israel Garcia, Jason Hovader, Matthew Phillips, Pruitt Rainey, and Gunners Willing. And I know for every guy that was there that day, when they were taken, a part of us went with them. A big part. Each and every one of them. And it was hard. I ended up at Walter Reed afterwards, and I felt like a shell of myself. Like that I just felt guilty. It wasn't fair. War's not fair. It wasn't fair that they were taken and that I came home. If they were going to go, I wanted us all to go. I was angry. I was angry at everybody around me. But there was the guys, and we stuck together and took care of each other. And at that time, all I could feel was what I lost. I wasn't able to think about all that I had gained. And time's given me the perspective to look at all the things that, despite how I've changed and what was taken from me, all those guys, yes, something left with over 2 deployments. Somebody that served and chose a company, we lost 17 guys. But of everything that had gone with them, they gave me so much more. They showed me what a hero is. Heroes are the men and women who don't come home. Heroes emerge from the intersection of service and sacrifice. All the men and women who put on the uniform that haven't come home. And we owe it to them to carry on and serve and talk about them and speak their names, because they died so we could do that. So, of everything that was taken, and I feel when we talk about these post-traumatic stress and traumatic brain injuries, it's great. We need to make sure that people understand that these are part of the invisible wounds of war, and the invisible wounds are just, if not more so, equally as damaging or as wounding as the physical ones. We're not broken. It's a challenge. There are veterans out there right now that I served with that are carrying around those invisible wounds, that are facing those challenges every day. They are police officers. They are great husbands. They are great fathers. They are IT professionals. They are doing all sorts of great things, but they're carrying around these invisible wounds. They're not broken. We got a lot of work to do to fix it, but they're going to change this country. They're going to come back, and they're going to integrate, and we're going to follow in the footsteps of our great Vietnam brothers and sisters that came before us. People like Rob sharing his story and showing us that there is hope, that it's not weakness to ask for help. Right? This is a part of the flaw of our military culture, right? We think that we're invincible and that we're too strong to ask for help, and we forget that like we're a part of this team where everybody is dependent upon everybody. I went on so many patrols where I carried machine gun ammo for somebody today, and they would carry my batteries tomorrow, right? Or I roll my ankle today, you carry my stuff, I'll carry yours tomorrow. I look at this going and getting help. Like Rob talked about it tonight, he's gonna be saving lives. Him sharing his story saves lives. He's now mentoring other veterans. That is saving lives. I look at that as that 12-foot wall we all encounter in basic training. You can't get over it on your own. But your job is, once you get up on top, you turn around, you pull up the person behind you. We're gonna do it. Veterans aren't broken. These are just challenges. and we're going to get there. Thank you.
You know, the people that donate and do the fundraising and everybody that works in here, and it's just what you guys do. You're my heroes. I mean, you guys, you saved my life. You saved my family.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Thank you, folks.